my house. My name is Victoria Heeks Knight, and I am your host here on Hockey Talk. Today, on this video, I am going to be talking about Canes versus the Boston Bruins on Saturday, April 5th this year. So, pregame, there was a little thing where they basically went in the life of Jacob Slavin for a little bit, and he talked about spending time with his family and as well as you know how he feels about his family, for lack of a better way of putting that. So he talked about putting down roots with his family. He and his wife apparently come from two different hometowns, and they both loved Raleigh when he got his rookie contract, and they ended up just staying. Then there was a interview with Rod Brindamore. He's the head coach, and he was asked about the lineup. He was also asked about, starting guys, resting guys, especially going into the playoff. And he said yes, they were resting some guys, and then they weren't resting others. He also was talking about the Red Wings game, and the, basically in a nutshell is what he said at that point was they weren't really there. We weren't really there. Um Yeah, that was basically all he said in that moment, and I agree with him. No one was no one was home in that particular game. Now, the Aho line also did great as always. Aho's line does very well usually. They also were talking. Rod Brindamore was also talking about how going into the Boston game, they needed to match their energy. And the Bruins are desperate. Um, and that is something that needs to happen. Matching that energy and surpassing it. The the Canes can do it. Let's talk about that Capitals game. They came, they showed, they ate their lunch, and then they sold the t-shirt from the summer camp. That is how you play a good hockey game. Okay? Now, here's the thing with the Boston game, right? Going into it, it is a very winnable game on paper, right? You have the Aho line, you have Freddie Anderson, you have Brent Burns line, like you have all of the correct lines in place and all of the correct pieces in place. But yet, you never underestimate, and this is just in life, not just, in sports. You never underestimate the desperate energy and the desperation of an underdog, right? Right. All right. So let's talk about this first period. Freddie was in goal. Freddie has good saves right out of the gate. Not one of the comments that I wrote down, one of the notes I made for myself while watching was they were the Canes weren't taking the shots on goal they usually do. Usually it's boom, 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 one after the other, one after the other, or it's constant. There is some form of shots being taken on goal. However, I noticed very early on in this game there weren't that many shots being taken on our part, and that kind of was odd to me. I mean, I get you don't have to, constantly be taking shots in order to win, but I also am like, we're a team that's known for taking shots. And quite frankly, you miss all of the shots you never take. Just saying. Something else that was mentioned in the broadcast that night was Jarvis appearing in his 300th game, which is awesome. And then the Boston did end up scoring 2 goals in the first period. Again, one of the comments that I wrote down was playing too much on our side of the ice. You need to move that puck to the other end of the ice in order to even be able to set up to make good shots. So, going out of the first period, the score was 2-0, Boston winning. Second period. I will circle back around to it at the end, but there was a weird puck drop. Like there was something wrong with it. Either the clock was off or someone jumped before they were supposed to. I don't really know what happened there, but that happened at the beginning of the second. Um then around the 17-ish minute mark, Kokonyemi did have a really good interception. There was a a penalty on Aho for slashing around the 15-minute mark. I'm not, from what I remember, it was a little hard to follow exactly what happened on that one. I'm not really for sure. Robinson and Jarvis were doing 2-on-1. Robinson was playing the part of Aho. However, it doesn't have the same magic. It works, but it doesn't have the same. How do I put this? It doesn't have the same sparks. It's not nearly as spicy as it is with Aho and Jarvis. Um, and that was around the 1450-ish mark of that game. And then Boston got another goal. And then I believe there was a cross check to Hall around the 720-ish mark. Um, and then I literally wrote no effing clue as to what happened this period. It's true. Like at the end of the second period, Boston is leading by 3. As I said earlier, this game should be very, very, very winnable. But we're we're doing this. We were losing by 3 at the end of the second. Need I say more? All right. In the third period, Boston did get another goal. Jarvis had a excellent, beautiful backhanded attempt around the 17-minute-ish mark. And honestly, it just everything I don't want to say I don't want to be that person that says, "Oh, we suddenly forgot how to play hockey." But it really felt like we didn't know how to play hockey, which I know for a fact is not true. We know how to play hockey. I'm going to mention it again. The the Capitals game versus Carolina Hurricanes. We know how to show up and show out, and yet here we are. Yeah. Um, there was a Boston player that took a puck to the I believe it was to the face. It was a little hard to tell exactly where he got hit on the replay because of the angle at which the camera was at, but he did take a, a puck to his persons. Boston did get a goal. Eventually, Canes did score. The rookie number 46 did make another appearance and he got a goal. Or that was the goal the Canes made. Sorry. And the game ended. The final score was 5-1, Boston winning. I I y'all, I don't know what to make of this. I really don't. Okay. So, before I get into my overall thoughts, here's the question I had, which was there something wrong with the puck drop in in the second period? I don't know, but they ended up doing it twice. So if you know, please feel free and keep it cute and comment in the comment section below. But that's my question for this video. What happened there? My favorite moments. I have a couple, but for time's sake, we'll stick with one. The Jarvis montage before the puck drop at the beginning of the game. I always love that. All right, let's get into my overall thoughts of this game. I have a lot of thoughts about this game. There were a lot of problems in this game, starting with the first period. The first period, there was no energy. It was like we were asleep. I was, I mean, yeah, I don't know how else to put that. It was almost, and this entire game, it was almost like we were going through the motions of playing hockey. Again, as I've said in previous videos, I know for a fact that traveling and um playing hockey on the road or playing any sport on the road is a difficult thing to do. It's not impossible, but it is difficult. And I don't I don't know. Uh, I really don't. Then there was the second period. I have no words other than to say it was like it was painful. It was like we rode the struggle bus into town and never got off the bus. Honestly, that's what it was like. The third period, yeah, like I don't know. We're looking for the energy from the Caps game, from the Capitals game, and that's not what we're getting. I mean, I kind of wonder if this is strategy going into the playoffs. I don't know that. I'm not a coach. I'm not a player. I'm not part of those conversations. But I kind of wonder if it's strategy going into the playoffs. Be underestimated and then come out swinging. It's possible. I that's a strategy. Is it the best strategy? I don't know. I do not know if that would be the way I would go about it. Of course, I'm not a coach. I'm not in those conversations. And this is all speculation on my part. Because let's be honest, if they go and play the way they've played in the past two games in the playoffs, we ain't winning. We ain't making it past the first game of the first round. Like, we'll be out if we play the way we've been playing. Anyway, like I say, like I've said before, we have so much talent on our team, and it's really frustrating to see your team not perform well, not you know, show up, show out, but I am looking forward to the next game that the Canes have. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much. Mm, excuse me. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. This is Hockey Talk, and as always, thank you for coming to my house.